I've got a very special guest, a student of ours that I'm going to interview today that literally went from making around $80,000 a year as a salesperson. She's in like insurance industry, network marketing industry, to going through the training and now makes well over $300,000 a year in straight commission. So this is going to be a great interview. She's going to kind of let you guys know what she's learning, what she's doing to be able to get to that. So Gina, I've been looking forward to this. I didn't have your number. I didn't know how to reach you. I know you went through our training and our advanced training, a couple of years ago, and you just totally owned it and totally crushed it. And I reached out to my assistant, like, you know what? I want to interview Gina. Like, I haven't talked to her for over a year. I really would like to pull her out and introduce her to our Facebook family of sales professionals and coaches and business owners and entrepreneurs. So first of all, I think everybody wants to know, like, were you born a salesperson? Were you like born out of your mother's womb and then like 10 minutes later, you just knew how to sell and communicate?
No, actually, I never been in the sales industry before. I never worked. I'm a stay-at-home mom for many years in America. My first job is like teaching my kids and tutor some of my friends' children for 7 years without any boss. This is my first time in sales industry.
Okay, so before you got into sales, you were a tutor. So you were tutoring your kids, you were tutoring other people's kids. So Gina, so what you're telling everybody is that you weren't born a salesperson. You didn't even have a sales career up until 3 years ago, really before you got into the training. You were a tutor, which obviously tutors are amazing. It's great, but it's a different space, right? You had people coming to you, you were tutoring friends' kids. What caused you to even want to get into sales 3 years ago?
When I get into this company, just like one of my friends just asked me, like, what do you do in your part-time? Because my tutor job, I start from 3 to 6 p.m. That's it. That I work just 3 hours per day. And I do looking for something because I have 4 kids and I'm a single mom. I know that this job doesn't give me much income, like whatever I like. And I've been looking, searching. So one of my friends just asked me, like, come in and looking for some opportunity. And I'm involved in this sales company, and this is a network marketing. When I joined, I never know this is network marketing either. After a month, I find out this is a recruiting company, and then we have to sell too. So that is like...
Yeah, so your friend gets you this part-time job. You think you're just selling like life insurance policies. You don't know what you don't know. And then like 4 or 6 months into it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is like a network marketing opportunity. Like, I have to learn how to communicate. I have to learn how to recruit. I have to, learn how to sell my services, which in your company that you work for, you guys do life insurance policies and annuities. So you got into it. You were selling that first year. What was selling like your first year? Like, what was it like for you as you're out there talking to people about life insurance and about joining this business opportunity with you?
Yes, I get the training by company. Yeah, I do a lot of recruiting at first, but it's not go like what I want. And it's hard to sell life insurance and recruiting by the time because people didn't see the value why they got life insurance cover. So I do have a very hard time in the first year. I'm looking for a lot of outside training. I read a lot of old school, like whatever you already talk about, like old guru in the past. And I get here and there to sell, but it's very hard. I have to work like from the morning to night. Appointment.
Okay, so you're a single mom. You're trying to provide for your 4 kids. You're on your own. You've got to make this happen. So you start reading books from quote unquote the gurus, and you're making some sales. Like I said, I think that first year you made like $85,000 or $87,000 in commissions. That's great, but you live in California. $80-some thousand a year in California is like making $30,000 a year where I live in Missouri. Like, you can't really survive on that. It's very hard. It's an expensive place to live. So you're learning from these gurus, these old school people. You're making some sales, but what was going on internally? Like, what were you feeling inside as you tried to sell that way and pressure people and convince people?
I feel very tired every day. I barely have time for my kids, and I still have to take care of all of them because drive them here and there. So my schedule really tight, and I get very, very exhausted. In the first year, with all my passions, I made it. In the first year, I was one of like a top 13 of the company. After that, the second year, I know I have problem. All my warm market is gone. People know I already sold. People I recruiting. Some do, some don't, and it's just very tired the second year. And I started to think.
Yes, you're working all these hours. You're making $6,500 a month, maybe $7,000 a month, but you're working a ton of hours. It's causing strain. What was it doing to like you and your kids? I mean, you must have been gone half the time.
They go to school. I work. When they go back home, I have to take care of them because I have small kids like back then. Back then, he was just about like 7 years old, and another 3 kids, they still not that old. So I have to compromise all my time to work, and I do have to do other job like the tutoring. I cannot quit because I'm not sure I can fulfill like the full time for this one yet because commission.
You're basically working 2 jobs. You have the sales job, selling life insurance. You're still a tutor on the side. You're raising 4 kids on your own. And then what happened? You're struggling. You made $80-some thousand commissions a year. Okay, but you're like, what changed in you to think like maybe there's a better way to sell? Like what caused you to start looking for maybe more advanced training? Like what happened there?
The second year, I feel very, very exhausted. I'm just like swimming in the ocean. I don't know like who I gonna reach out, what method I gonna learn from, because many I give advertise. And it was like, my fortunate to have like some of like the email advertised in my email. I buy every course, every single course. And then the first course that the master selling or something like this, I register and met the first coach. So his name is Ryan. And I like the method that you provide, like NEPQ.
You got into NEPQ. You started getting results, just going through the NEPQ sales training course. Like what started changing for you that first couple months after you started learning by just going through the course before you got into any more advanced training? What started changing you when you were out there talking to people about your insurance policies, about your opportunity? Like what started to shift for you and change?
My mindset just shift to a different way of thinking. And the way the coach trained me, I feel like, wow, this is like, it's very common sense, but we make all mistake because all the sales reps ask the same question. So if I do the same, like what they do, they just look at me like a salesperson, another one. I've heard that already, so I know that. And then I found like the training is so beautiful for me, and I applying some of them in my training, like myself, and it's helped a little bit. Because I feel like there is something behind or after the next level.
So you started learning some questions to ask from the NPQ sales training course. You started putting it together on your own. From what I understand, your income went from like $87,000 to like $130 or $140 that following year. And you were doing good. I mean, you pretty much almost doubled your sales. You doubled your income. At that point, a lot of salespeople that make like $130,000, $150,000 might think they've conquered the world and be like, hey, I'm making all this money. I'm making 6 figures. Like, what caused you at that point to then decide like, hey, I wanted to look at getting into the advanced training. Like, I want more training from Jeremy. Like, what caused you at that point to be like, I need more training. I need more advanced than even this training course?
I want to scale my business as much as I can, because I want to be a very good agent, just like a very good person to have like full knowledge and can help other people, just not like I'm a salesperson. So when training the coach like Brian or Ash, like teach me that kind of mindset. And I really want to have like you coach me like one-on-one. And that's like my privilege to have to learn from anything like good from you. And then you did train me like the whole year, like one-on-one. Whenever I need your help, you box me right away. And that's helped me like so many sales, and I don't have to spend like all day to sit down with appointment back to back and then go back home with nothing. So whenever appointment I set, it's done.
Well, so you got into her at that point, your income went from like 80-some thousand the year before, just trying to figure it on your own, learning from all the quote unquote sales gurus out there struggling, working 12 hours a day. You've taken care of these 4 kids on your own, single parent. You then get into the NPQ sales training course. Your income goes from 80 some thousand dollars a year to like 140 something, almost doubling. So things are getting better. And then you get into our advanced inner circle 101 program where we write out your sales structure with you. We tie in NEPQ to your industry, make it very specific. So you know exactly what questions to ask at each time. There's no guessing. There's no winging it. We role play. You have access to me on Voxer where you're asking me questions every day. And I even feel bad, Gina, because when you were in the inner circle program a couple of years ago, we've added another element now, which is like a much even bigger element where we do so much more role playing and we do so much more breaking down recorded calls. We have salespeople record themselves talking to prospect, and then we play it back. I basically help them change everything because I can hear what they're doing right and wrong. And I feel bad. I'm like, we didn't even have that when Gina was here. And her income went from 140,000 from 85 to 140. And then boom, that next year, I think you just told me you made well over $300,000 in commissions. What do you think changed that? Like what caused that doubling your income again?
I believe like whenever like the first year, I'm very like optimistic and it's not like what I thought because I still forget from the new and the old kind of selling system. Sometimes I just go back and do the same thing. And after like objection of like the client, and I just realized that, wow, I did something wrong. And I just like stop right there and I go back to ask them emotion question, consequence like question. And then I say that sale or the client just like agree right away. And it's amazing. Just look like a magic wand to turn from the no to the yes. And from the very small policy to the big one.
Talk about that for a second. I believe you told me, if I remember right, when I was training you one-on-one, this was last year and everything, that before the training, your policies were smaller, like 100,000, 50,000, 200,000. Then you started learning NEPQ, and it wasn't just you were making a lot more sales, but the size of the sale was like 2, 3, 4 times bigger. Tell us a little bit about how that happened.
Yes, the first year I had 100 sale. Each sale about like 100,000. Maybe like they contribute about hundreds of 150. Maximum about like 200-300 is like very okay policy. The biggest one will be 500. Very rare. The second year I get better, but this year something amazing. And whenever I sit down, I have policy like 1,000, 3,000, millions and above. And I have less policy but more income and less time to contribute. So I have like more time.
You're not out hustling all day for $100,000 policies. You're sitting down with people that are far more sophisticated, but you know how to communicate with them now properly because you've mastered NEPQ. You're on your way mastering it. And instead of doing a $100,000 policy, you're doing like $1 million or $2 or $3 million policy.
Yes. And I did like transfer a lot current policy and each amount 100, 200, 300,000 from the old company to new company. So that's like policy can give me like 25,000 commission. Sometimes like most of them 10,000. The smallest one maybe 5,000 now for my income and less time to go out and sit down with a lot of like prospects.
How many hours are you working a day now selling insurance compared now you're made well over 300,000 in commissions this last year. How many hours a day less are you working compared to when you were out winging it, trying to figure it out as far as like using old school methods and you made 80,000 that year? How many less hours are you working?
Actually, I have maybe like one appointment a day, but I have to like build up my pipeline. Every single day, I do consistency and discipline myself. I have to wake up early to do whatever I need to do, build up my pipeline. And I do work with CPA accountant. And that is a different niche that I have right now. So I sit down with this pharmacists, therapists. Those people make huge income and they don't know how to control their asset. So they need help.
So like going from $80,000 a year, single parent, 4 kids, you're out working 12 plus hours a day, frustrated, chasing people down, trying to get them to buy what you were selling. And now basically, people are coming to you. You're able to communicate them the right way where they're pulling you in rather than, pushing, and they're pushing back. How's your life, different than it is back in the day?
I'm a happier person. I get younger. I have like more time with my kids. You have time to work out every day, go wherever my kids want to go, and set up appointment by my time. I don't even like leave the house. That is my advantage that I can take care of my mom. My mom is old. She's 80 years old. She live with me too. So that is like right now I put all my time for my family. And of course I work full time because if like one sale, like one deal is done, it can cover like a whole month for me. But I don't stop from there. I work like almost like every day. I still come back to all your course, spend like 1 or 2 hours whenever I have time to study, rehearse, practice my tonality, remember all the questions. That is like give me more experience and reflect faster.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I mean, like I said, going from making 80,000 a year in commissions, learning from the quote unquote old sales gurus, pushing, pressuring people, running after them. And then you learn an EPQ. You start learning the questions. You get then into, your income doubles, 140,000 the next year, working less hours. Then you're like, I need to learn this better. I need to master this. I need to tie it into what I sell. Then you come into our advanced inner circle program. We write out your sales structure with you. We tie in EPQ into what you sell. We write out specific questions for your industry, your services, your products. We're role playing. You're asking me questions daily on Voxer, and you double it from there, more than double it. And then this last year during pandemic, making more than $25,000 a month in commissions consistently, not just 1 month here and there, but like every month you're over that. I'm very proud of you. So any advice you would give for anybody listening today about that might be in our Facebook group, just wondering like, hey, is this training for me? Would it work for what I sell? Any advice you have for anybody out there?
Well, my advice to any commerce that Jeremy have a very good NEPQ sales system that applies and it's work for every industry, just not like life insurance or anything, because your sales script, it's just like tailor whatever you sell. And I believe that is a changing game. Your script like all the time right now, I just like all the old kind of selling. And I just ask question, probing question. And I love to ask them and practice my tonality. I deal with a lot of my Vietnamese people. And of course I have to translate like your script to my nature language. It's a little hard. Sometimes it's very hard, but it works so well.
I think it's amazing. Are you Vietnamese?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought you were from Vietnam or Laos or somewhere that I couldn't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's one thing to learn sales. You had no sales experience before you started selling insurance. And then you're having to learn it and then translate it over to your language, because a lot of some of the people you're talking to, you're talking to them in their language as well. So you kind of have to translate. So I think that's even more remarkable than somebody that doesn't have to do that. So I just wanted to commend you. Thanks for being on here. We're so glad that you're a part of our community. I love seeing people that are in your shoes, that like literally single divorced mom taking care of 4 kids on her own, just takes it by the horns, learns the right way to sell, learns an EPQ, learns the right sales, and it completely changes not only your life, but you're changing your kids' lives for future generations to come, and changing your prospects' lives that are purchasing what you're offering, because you're solving their problems and you're able to help them meet their objectives. So you're helping so many people. I love that. So if you want to get the same type of results that Gina is getting and all of these other people that we post every day, like I said, I don't post too much. I only post like 2 or 3 testimonials a day because I don't want to overwhelm people. We have over 1,500 in the last 2.5 years. It's remarkable. Any last thoughts, Gina, before we end this great interview? I really appreciate you coming out here.
Well, Jeremy, I'm very happy, and thank you so much for giving the opportunity to share my progress to the group. And I hope everyone take action, and your investment is worth it. It's gonna follow you all your life. It's no words to say thank you, because I know you give me treasure that I will have this all or my life, and changing all my kids' life too, because it will be more. And I believe I hit 500,000 very soon. I have a goal for me this year, and I will commit to come back training every week, and gonna give a lot of big move in the short future.
I love the progression. 80-some thousand a year, with old school training, gets into NEPQ, goes from 80 to 140, then gets into our advanced training where we write out their sales structures, break down recorded calls, role playing, Voxer, and then more than doubles it again to now over $300,000 a year in commissions, selling the exact same thing. You are amazing and role model and someone that I look up to. Congratulations. The only reason why we made this Facebook group is to help people just like you, just like Gina. You know, Gina started the same way. Double, triple, quadruple your results. Doesn't matter what you sell. We help you in any industry, product, service, or industry. Gina, go enjoy that sunny skies of California, because you've got to enjoy it because you're paid with all those taxes and traffic. So you better go out and have some fun out there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, we'll see you soon, everybody. Thanks. Love it, Gina. That was awesome. Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here, Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're gonna help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.